Community Bank of Memphis can help put the vehicle of your dreams in your driveway. Get that car, truck, van, or SUV you've always wanted with an auto loan from your hometown bank. We offer competitive rates and fast, friendly hometown service. Before you go shopping for your next new or used vehicle, give us a call at 465-8501. Hometown banking with your neighbors and friends at Community Bank of Memphis. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Today we see a 40% chance of showers after 4 p.m., decreasing to 30% before 7 p.m. tonight. Otherwise, it'll be mostly sunny today with a high near 66. Tonight we'll see cloudy skies clearing with a low right around 32. It'll be sunny tomorrow with a high near 67. That's weather.
This is the award-winning broadcast of Healthy University, bringing health and vitality to you and your family. Brought to you by Scotland County Hospital in Memphis. Now, here's your host, Dr. Randy Tobler.
Doctor, my eyes have seen the years and the slow parade of fears without crying. Now I want to understand. I have done all that I could.
Good morning. Welcome to Healthy You. I'm Dr. Randy Tobler, along with Bud and Elisa and the whole gang, and we have special surprise guests coming your way later on. I think my microphone is acting funny. There we go.
There you go.
So it's great to be with you. Thanks for being here. And we today, the focus of our show in just a few minutes will be avoiding falls for fall.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't fall into fall.
I think
you can spring into spring, but don't fall into fall.
Yeah, have a nice trip. See you next fall. I know all those things. We've heard all those things, right? Okay.
Well,
so
if
we're
you
gonna
exercise enough by next spring, you could be spring.
They're not too funny if you're the one taking the nosedive.
No,
and it's even less funny if you have to see Dr. Weaver to get your hip pinned.
Yeah.
Or Dr. Waddington for some OMM.
Or Dr. Waddington or one of our other docs for some OMM and, getting that straight. So, and you don't have to. I didn't fall, but I guess I was working hard and I hurt my back a week or so ago.
Yeah.
And so
how'd that turn out?
Yeah.
Well, it's working okay.
How are the grapes?
Grapes are doing well. There's no grapes. It takes 3 years to have grapes on the vines.
Really?
Vines are good for me because it teaches patience.
Yeah.
Which is not one of my stronger points.
Okay, so initially you plant and
you
then
plant the vines.
3 years later
you nurture them. It's like French cooking.
Mm-hmm.
The reduction takes 2 or 3 hours to take that Cabernet down to a nice thick sauce. It's patient. So you nurture them, you tend them, you train them, and maybe they yield a bounty of grapes in 2 or 3 years. So we'll see.
How did you get your back
prune
better?
them.
How did you get your back better?
Actually, I was over at Lancaster last week, and Dr. Whitlock did a number on me.
Yay, Dr. Whitlock.
And within 24 hours, I was feeling a lot better.
So tell me about...
I'd never had that done before. I was a little afraid because there were noises. I don't like the thought of noises when doctors are working on me, but it was good. I've not done the OMM thing, and it was really good. So it helped.
It was like, what was that?
And then a little heating pad action, a little just I'm a strong believer, and we'll ask Megan, who's going to be our guest here in a little bit, about some of the data. My read on the back data is that you're better off to just work through it.
Yeah.
Now there are certain things. I mean, if you've gone numb in one leg, or if you
if you have
neurologic symptoms, but if it's just a back strain, you know what I was doing? I was putting those helical anchors in the ground, with a crowbar and screwing those into the ground, and just something about that motion. Plus, I had like 100-foot roll of 6-foot tall wire, welded wire.
And you were
woven
doing
wire.
what with that?
I was doing it's all about the grapes.
And
it's all about the grapes, bud. I was keeping the deer away from the grapes. I'm doing all the things you're not supposed to do, lifting it, giving it a big bear hug and twisting and lifting. You shouldn't lift away from yourself. All the things that Carrie and Megan have taught us the last time they were here.
That we don't pay any attention to.
And
so good doctor, tell me about Epsom salts. Our family just had a malady this week, and we were introduced to Epsom salts. So I'm reading about this. It seems like the healer is like
Epsom salts are good.
Yeah, and it said exactly what you were talking about. Bruises, sore muscles, 2 cups in a bathtub of these Epsom salts. And so tell me, why is that?
Well,
and should you try that?
My understanding is and in fact, Helene and I went to an interesting conference.
Yes,
and we're
I read
going.
about that.
I have a lot of good guests that we're going to have
Super.
for you guys on the air here within the next month or two.
Awesome.
I got okays from no less than 3 people, and there's a 4th one who I'm sure will come on as well.
Bud is going to be on that
about
that
lifestyle
like white on
medicine.
rice.
Great stuff. And anyway, so one of the lectures confirmed what we all know, and I know Dr. Waddington is big on this too, and that's magnesium, because magnesium levels, while they can be normal in the bloodstream, you can actually be depleted within your cells. And if you think of calcium and magnesium in terms of how they drive muscle cells, calcium is like the accelerator and magnesium's the brake. So magnesium tends to be a relaxing agent, and calcium tends to be something when it rushes into the cells, it makes cells do things. You know, if you're an inflammatory cell, you fire. If you're a muscle cell, you fire. And for instance, we give magnesium, IV magnesium in high doses to women that have toxemia and are near seizure, because it relaxes the nerves and the muscles, and they just go, and nothing happens. And they don't have a seizure. They go bleh, like that. That's a verbal relaxation over the air, because you can't watch a visual. That's a radio picture, visual, or an audio picture.
Okay.
We saw it on the radio.
And so it's thought that it may be helpful to help you absorb that magnesium, because you do absorb things through your skin.
The Epsom salts?
Well,
helps?
anything you put on your
Really?
skin. If you put stuff on your skin, I mean, that's why you don't put 50% DEET on kids' skins for mosquitoes and
That's
ticks,
why
right?
the nicotine patch works.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you may get some relaxation from that. Plus, I mean, there may just be something to a helpful warm bath. I mean, let's be honest about it. That's part of the magnesium experience.
If you read
Epsom
the box,
salts are magnesium sulfate. That's
okay,
what
because if you read the box, it is the be all and end all, and it's been very helpful. With
Well,
our
they want you to
maladies.
buy the product.
Dear Elisa, have you read the box on anything you bought from an infomercial?
Yeah, but this is $1.27 down at Matt McKee's show.
My name is Ron Popeil, and here's the magnesium salt in a box. It's magnesium-omatic, Epsom-omatic. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens with.
I did just want to know from a
Boy,
doctor's
are you gullible!
perspective. I am.
I got some
know.
swampland in a box. I'd like to sell you. Really, it's good for you. Trust me, I'm a doctor.
But it is a very old remedy.
Yeah. It is, and there's really something to it.
Okay.
So it's a good thing. It's relaxing, and we'll ask Megan Weber, our physical therapist and our supervisor of the department,
about
Scotland
Epsom
County
salts,
Hospital, about that, because she's an expert. I'm sure she's seen a few sprains and spasms and muscle pain in her life. Maybe personally, because she's an athlete.
Yeah.
We understand that she has run 4 marathons recently.
Yes.
No, I don't know. You did something recently that was very admirable. A triathlon?
It's in 2 weeks.
Oh,
she will run 4 marathons very recently.
Where?
It's a half marathon, and it's in Kansas City.
Good for you. That's great. And then on the phone line is Jennifer Mayfield, who you know from a previous discussion we had about goodies that you should eat and not eat, and nutrition and stuff. So when we come back, we'll step aside and take a little break. And really, this is now a critical problem facing an aging population. And what is that, Bud? It's not that you're losing hair. It's not that your prostate's getting bigger. It's something else.
Well, there's a whole bunch of things going on with this, but it has to do with strength. It has to do with agility.
Yeah.
It has to do with balance is a huge thing. And it also has to do, let's face it, it has to do with bone density too.
Yes. And it may have something to do with flexibility too. That was a big theme at the lifestyle conference that we were at as well, and how flexibility may actually be sort of a measure of your biological health and sort of your aging, So
And the good thing is, no matter where you're at there, you can improve your lot.
Yeah.
And this fall thing is about prevention after all.
All right, we'll be back with more. Megan Weber, Jennifer Mayfield, and your calls after the break. What are the numbers, Bud?
1-800-748-7875 and 660-465-7225.
And don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. So don't forget who's taking you home, or in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. Oh, baby, won't you save the last dance for me. Ooh, you make a promise that you'll save the last dance.
The Fall Field Reports are brought to you by DuPont Crop Protection. Count on DuPont to make every acre count from seed to harvest. From innovative pest, weed, and disease control to local expertise and financial options that help you make smart choices for your unique operation.
Hello, I'm Nathan Studer with DuPont Crop Protection, serving southwest Iowa and northwest Missouri. With the record-setting pace of this year's crop harvest, we are already looking at the possibility of providing optimal conditions for these winter annual weeds. We want some residual versus burn down only, so that we will continue to have activity on these winter annuals through the rest of the fall and into the early spring. The other advantage that provides us, next spring we will be able to apply products like DuPont and Vive herbicide before these soybeans at a more optimal time so that we can extend that residual into the growing season for better control of some of those summer annual broadleaves like water hemp and giant ragweed.
This report was brought to you by DuPont Crop Protection. Count on DuPont to make every acre count from seed to harvest. Visit DuPontFieldReports.com.
Well, folks, another BigIron.com sale is coming your way October 10th. That's Wednesday, October 10th. First items will close out at 10 a.m. Central Time on BigIron.com. About 200 high-quality pieces on this sale, including a Cat Lexion 570-yard field-ready combine. Also a like-new, and I do mean like-new, John Deere 6115D with only 185 hours, has a loader, bale, spear, and super clean. Very nice 1998 Peterbilt 379 long hood semi with an N14 Cummins in it. And how about this? 3 nice John Deere wheel loaders to move some serious material. All these items plus many more on the October 10th sale only online at BigIron.com. Go there and bid right now. Plus, don't forget, BigIron.com is giving away a Polaris 2012 Sportsman 4-wheeler November 1st. You can register online for free right now at BigIron.com. And while you're there registering, you might as well go ahead and bid on these great items coming up for you October 10th and experience the power of BigIron.com.
Whew, hot enough for you?
Hey, life in the cornfields, my friend.
And that's why I trust Optimum Aquamax corn hybrids from Pioneer.
Optimum Aquamax hybrids help deliver a yield advantage in water-limited environments and offer top-end yield potential under more favorable growing conditions. Minimize risk, maximize productivity.
Optimum Aquamax hybrids deliver.
Rain or shine.
Optimum brand innovations from DuPont Pioneer. See your Pioneer sales professional today. Science with service, delivering success.
The most advanced technologies in mechanized irrigation. That's why Valley Irrigation stands alone. Our commitment to engineering center pivot solutions that maximize grower efficiency has led to industry firsts like variable rate irrigation, GPS-ready control panels, and Base Station, the ultimate tool for remote monitoring and control. Leading the way. That's the way we do business at Valley. See a Valley dealer today.
Feel a shiver run up my spine. I feel the warmth of her hand in mine. Ooh, I hear laughter in the rain, walking hand in hand with the one I love. Ooh, how I love the rainy days and the happy way I feel inside.
We're back on Healthy You. It's 19 after the hour. Welcome aboard. Thanks for being here. We're talking about avoiding falls in fall and every day of the year, because if you have weak bones, and even if you don't, you could break something or you could twist something. I mean, it's not just about broken hips, but of course that's probably one of the most feared.
Lacerations, contusions, hematomas, just a whole bunch of different things that you can have. Did you check this out? Would you guess that 500,000 people are seen in the ER every year because of a fall?
I would believe that.
Well, that's not true.
Oh.
Would you believe that? Would you believe that 1 million people are seen every year in the ER?
Yeah. Well, I believe it's a high number.
Here's
what it is.
What is it? Last year, 2,500,000 people were seen in an emergency room because of a fall.
Wow.
That's
a lot.
And this is something, folks, that inevitably, at the end of the day, we have to use the word preventable, because to a large degree, accidents I know are going to happen. But a lot of times, if we're talking about strength, balance, and other things like that, it's preventable. And no matter where you are right now, you can improve your life.
Yeah. That's like 3,000 a day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of folks.
It is.
And the ramifications are just dramatic and sometimes cataclysmic. And to help us sort out all of that information about why you don't want to fall and especially how to avoid falling is Megan Weber, our supervisor of physical therapy. Therapy services, right?
Therapy services.
At Scotland County Hospital. And Jennifer Mayfield, who you know, she's been on with us before, nutrition and health education specialist here in Scotland County. And how are you doing, Jennifer? Welcome back to the program.
I'm doing good. Thank you very much.
Good. Hey, well, we had a caller that couldn't stay on the line, but had a question because we were talking about Epsom salts and the marvels of Epsom salts and how Grandma's treatments really might be a pretty good thing. It's funny, Grandma made us do cod liver oil, and it was not the best source, but it was a source of omega-3s. Yeah, and so that Grandma knew,
Yeah.
But at any rate, what do you have an opinion on Epsom salts and diabetes? Soaking in Epsom salts?
Well, we normally don't have diabetics soak very long at all, period, just because of the breakdown of the skin. I've not actually had that brought up. I really don't have an opinion about Epsom salts. We just don't like them to soak.
And I think that's what the consensus is, that it can be drying if you soak your skin too long in whatever, in just regular water. And so, especially if you have, certainly if you have an ulcer or if you're prone to that, or if you have a neuropathy, you want to avoid that because you could burn yourself, you could soak too long. If you have a crack in the skin or something, you could get an infection that could enter in there, and because of poor circulation. I guess it's like everything else. There's also concerns about whether too much magnesium absorbed, and that would happen if you had open skin.
Right.
It could change blood sugar levels and drop them if magnesium went up. My advice is if you've got early diabetes and you're on a pill and your sugars are pretty well controlled and you feel your skin well and everything looks great, and you want to soak your feet now and then, I don't see a problem. Of course, if you have dry skin, use a moisturizer.
Right.
So a lot of this is common sense.
Right.
Falls are a big problem, aren't they, Megan?
They sure are, especially with winter coming up.
And I know you see folks that are, I guess, in all stages of rehabilitation from the ramifications of a fall, all the way from I fell and caught myself and then I couldn't get up because I sprained something, to I'm recovering from my hip being pinned, right?
Yep, we've seen through it all.
Can I help you?
And, oops, wait a minute. Oh, go ahead, Jen. Okay. And so I guess what I'd like to get at is, how critical is the component of balance and the ability to maintain balance in the recovery phase? And then we'll work backwards and go to how to avoid it. I mean, what do you see in terms of someone who comes in with existing balance problems?
After they undergo surgery, it can double their balance impairments. A lot of times afterwards, they're using a assistive device that they weren't using before.
Mm-hmm.
So and a lot of times they want to get rid of that assistive device. That's kind of a common thing people don't want to use. So we have to work with them starting off, using the device and
that and the
oxygen
tank.
Yeah.
And Jennifer, before we get along too far here, I want to promote a show, or not a show, but a program that you're doing coming up at the hospital. Several Thursday sessions, I guess, right? And
yes.
It's a 6-session event called A Matter of Balance, Managing
yes.
Concerns About Falls. Will you be leading that class?
I will be co-leading. I'll be co-teaching with the Human Development Specialist out of Clark County, Debbie Whiston.
Uh-huh. And what is involved with that?
It's a curriculum that was designed at Boston University. It was created to help adults 60 and over, to help them with concerns about falling. So it kind of helps, we just go over different things about, view their falls and fear of falling as, something that they can kind of control sometimes. If they have better balance, setting realistic goals for increasing some of their activity, change their environment to reduce the risk of a fall. Sometimes just having a rug around is maybe not the best idea. Doing just simple exercises to help build strength and balance. And so each week we'll just go over, it does have some simple exercises to just kind of help build that, but then we'll have a little bit of education each week as well about some of those things in their environment and some of their concerns about what is their fear will happen to them. So it's kind of touching base a little bit on the psychological as well as the physical aspect of falling.
So I remember the old TV series Kung Fu with David Carradine and the candles burning in the cave, and Megan's too young for that.
Focus, grasshopper.
And so, Jennifer? Are you and Debbie going to have us doing Tai Chi? Are we going to be? Are we going to sort of that slow Oriental movement, Asian exercise?
I like it.
I mean, I'm not kidding here. It's really that's one of the things that's helpful for that kind of a thing, isn't it?
It is. I'm not sure that this particular curriculum has those aspects of exercise, but this is designed for a lot of the people that come to this have already experienced some type of fall, and so they're limited on their mobility. So the exercises are extremely simple, and some of them are even chair type of exercises, just to help give them. Yeah. Jen? So we'll have people walking in with canes and things like that. So they, so this is really simple for them.
So it's very doable and a lot of return for a very small investment in terms of, it's not like you have to go in and commit to doing some kind of, triathlete preparation.
Exactly. Nothing like that at all.
Jen, do you think people are actually afraid of once they've had a fall, and perhaps it was a traumatic event? I know when I worked on the ambulance, there'd be people we'd go for that had been on the floor for hours, literally waiting for someone to come. And do you think they're actually kind of afraid to leave the house and go out? Does it interfere with their activities of daily living, do you think?
Oh, definitely. There is a psychological aspect to it. I mean, with anything, with any of us, if we have a bad experience, I remember in high school I had a really bad car accident, and I was afraid for a little while to drive past that spot or to drive, So for all of us, that happens, and definitely if you're an older person and you have a fall that has affected you, sometimes, especially if the weather is bad, they just refuse to come out because they are afraid to fall. So definitely.
Yeah.
And, when Bud referred to somebody that's been on the floor for several hours, what a scary event for that individual. But, at the hospital, we have a service through Brenda Prather, and that service is called Lifeline. And I personally have to tell you, with two grandmas in my life, I'm just going to come right out and tell you, it is a lifeline. And it is a wonderful service. It's very economically priced. It's very reasonable. I think you pay 3 months at a time. And that is just a necklace or a bracelet, a little medallion that individual wears. And that is truly a lifeline to medical service, to your loved one. If you were to get down, you wouldn't have to lay there for hours because you can press the button if you're in the bathtub, if you're in the shower. And so that is a service, and I believe we cover several counties. And Brenda Prather at the hospital at 465-8511 would be the one to call, especially going into winter.
Right.
I have to say this simply because going into winter, you've got the inclement weather, you have, just your joints and muscles are cold, and so...
And let's be honest about something, because I have a mom who's got a lot of French heritage in her, and she has a bad hip, had a hip replacement, and it had come out once. But my mom has that sort of stubbornness that I think it galvanizes us.
No, I can't imagine it.
I am going to be independent, and even though you may rationally know that you have risks and you shouldn't go down to the post box to get your mail because it's been a little bit sleety a couple days ago, we all are going to do that. And our independence is a double-edged sword. It's a great thing, but this will give you the reassurance.
That's right. This allows you to have that independence, to stay in your home, to stay in your environment.
Right.
So this piece right here, the Lifeline program, is that piece of independence.
I mean, my mom, I wish she'd have had this because she went down and did the trash can thing once and fell and was there, not for long, for a few minutes, but it was one of those snowy days.
Traumatic.
And, I think we all tend to do that. It's like, I don't care what that doctor says. I'm going to get out and do what I need to do. And that's fine. I mean, let's just realize that's what people do. So you should get involved in Jennifer's course
Absolutely.
And if you're going to be independent, because we're an independent people,
Yeah.
and you realize that, on the other hand, the smart part of you says, well, I better be prepared, and I better try to do what I can to reduce risk, and I'm going to do that. And again, the course is on Thursdays, starting this Thursday, right, Jen?
Yes.
And how do people enroll? Do they show up? Do they call?
No,
What do they do?
We would very much like for them to call the office here and let us know if they want to come, just because we'll have some light refreshments there for them, and it just kind of helps us to know how many to prepare for. So you just need to call the office here in town.
Okay, so that's 465-7255?
Yes.
Okay.
No, that's your number, 7255. It's so close to yours.
It's so close to the radio station number.
Right.
And I will add in that we're coming to help with one of the last sessions, and we're actually going to teach people how to safely get up from a fall. So that'll be another addition into the program.
Can you give us a little preview? I mean, that never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking getting up is a good thing, but I
just-
didn't think how to get up,
It'll be individual based to see how they can put, some people can't get into certain positions on the floor. If you've had your knees replaced, you can't get on your knees. And
So a little personalized instruction in how to get up. Well, that's awesome. That's good stuff.
So this now Jen, there's a fee, and it's a one-time fee, right?
Right. It's $10 for the whole
That's
6
a
weeks.
whole 6 weeks, and it's every Thursday, and it's for an hour, and it's like from 10 to 11:30. Is that right?
Yes.
$10 for 6 weeks. Jennifer, you're working too cheap.
You are.
Well, the university would actually like us to charge a little more, but we really don't like to do that if we can keep from doing that, because
That's
we want
great.
people to come.
Yeah. What kind of snacks we have? Popcorn?
I'm not sure. They're going to be light.
Last time I found myself on the floor, my wife had fixed a nice gourmet Mediterranean meal, and I got up and made some popcorn. Not a good thing. Next thing you know, I'm on the floor trying to figure out how to get up. No, I'm not. Not really. Now, let's talk about most of the people listening haven't had a fall. But most of the people listening, I'd like you to try a little experiment now. Just if you're standing or sitting at your desk, stand up and just raise one hip and bend at the knee, and just see how long you can do that without having to steady yourself. Try it on each side, and you'll find one side's better than another. Right, Megan? Isn't that usually the case?
that's usually the case.
We have a dominant side,
Yep.
right? And you'll discover that, and then ask your child tonight, who's anything under 20 or 30, whatever. Ask a young person that you know to do it, and they can do it a lot better. The truth is that both because of muscle weakness, lack of core strength, probably some neurologic effects, as we age, even before we have a fall. When does that whole balance thing start to deteriorate, Meg?
I would say when you get to be around 50.
When we stop doing stuff, for one thing, because, right?
Well, my dad, he's 52, and the other day he said, I'm tripping over stuff a lot. He's like, you think I'm having a stroke? I'm like, no, you're 52.
You really know how to hurt a guy, don't you?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it also has a lot to do with vision, too, because he needs glasses and doesn't wear them, so that can have a big factor in your balance.
See, there's a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of different aspects.
Yeah.
Megan, I keep seeing the term when we're reading about it. I keep seeing flexibility. So talk to me about what does that mean, flexibility? I mean, my fingers move, my wrist moves. That's flexion, but what are we talking about?
Well, a lot of times, like if you sit a lot, your hip flexors and the muscles that are tight are shortened when you sit a lot. So when you stand, you don't always have the full motion in your hips that you should.
Okay. Add to that age.
Where does lack of flexibility come into fall risk?
You just don't have the normal length of your muscles. So when you're doing activities like you step over something or around something or reach for something, your muscles don't stretch.
Here's a good one. We used to see this a lot on the ambulance. Somebody would, when we'd ask them, we always ask them to describe what's going on so we can get the full story. And what they'll say is, well, I was putting on my trousers and I leaned over to put the other leg in and fell over sideways, broke a hip. Just like that, cause a balance thing of trying to get your pants on, for crying out loud.
No, you're right. I mean, and I hear a lot of people tell me they fall doing things that they've done a million times, going out to water the planter on the corner of the deck. And I don't, it's like, well, what happened? I don't know. I went out to water the plant on the corner of the deck, and the next thing you know, I was down. And usually what happens is, it seems to me, it's a combination of hurry and lack of mindfulness of what you're doing and not thinking purposefully about what you're doing. I mean, that hits me right at home, because I tend to do a lot of that, right? Get distracted and you do something else and you don't have your mind on what you're doing. But I guess the message is, be equipped with strong muscle, strong core, good flexibility, and whatever special situation you're dealing with, make sure you attend to something that's sort of personalized for that. And that's where you can get instruction, either through the department or through Jennifer's class coming up. And then think about it when you're doing stuff. I mean, that sounds so simple. But most of the things happen when people are being mindless.
Yeah, and here's another thing. This is a prime example of another thing that happens. People get out of the tub or the shower and they're drying off, and they close their eyes while they're drying off.
Yeah.
Well, then they end up on the floor. So keep your eyes open.
I do that because I look in the mirror and I better close my eyes. It's like, whoa.
Run for it.
Yeah, so don't have a mirror that you're looking in. That way you won't close the eyes. But at any rate, so I mean, there's a lot of things that you just have to be careful about, because I spend a lot of time teaching my patients and testing for osteoporosis.
Yeah.
It's a big thing,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And it's really an unrecognized problem among men. Probably 20% of people that have osteoporosis in this country are men.
Yeah.
But that doesn't generally cause a fracture of the hip. It may cause a fracture of the spine, but you usually have to have some inciting event, you know?
Right.
The uncooked spaghetti doesn't break until you snap it.
Exactly.
Right? And so usually there's like just a low impact fall that causes the fracture. And so whether or not you have osteoporosis, you better be in good shape. Make sure that you can try to do all you can to strengthen the muscles and your flexibility.
And Megan probably will be the first to agree with this, but core body muscles like the abdomen and the upper thighs
they
muscle
play a big
strength.
factor in balance overall.
Yeah, it's a huge thing.
Control.
What about someone? I mean, I was talking with my wife the other day because she said, you need to be more flexible, and I'm right. She's right. I know that. But I mean, I have a hard time touching my
You are kind of rigid.
Hey. Not in mind, just in body. And I mean, it's so. What about guys that? I mean, you start to go down and bend at the hip and touch your toes, and you get about down past your knees, and the back of your knees feels like it's going to snap.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, what do you do? Can that? I'm like, honey, that's the way I am. That's not going to change. Can that change?
Yeah.
Can you improve
The thing
that?
with stretching and flexibility is the more you do it, the looser your muscles are going to get. You have to stretch and stretch and stretch to lengthen a muscle. So it takes 6 to 8 weeks stretching 3 times a day.
Wow.
Really? I didn't know that. Because, I mean, I'll do it for a few days. It's sort of like flossing. It's like, whatever. Nothing's happening here.
Well,
so you have to, if you're attentive, if you're committed to it, you can make a difference. Have you found that the same, Jen, in terms of some of these healthy activities towards, avoiding falls? It takes practice?
Yes, most definitely.
Uh-huh. And you're going to be teaching these things at your Matter of Balance class coming up starting Thursday. Not too late to sign up. Call 465-7255. Oh, it said by September 25th. Ooh.
It's okay. They can still call.
Okay, good. And so she's giving you a reprieve. And 465-7255. And Jennifer and then Debbie Whiston will be helping teach that class. And Megan and her staff will be there the last class as well, correct?
Yes.
All right. Hey, Jennifer, thanks for being with us. We know you're
Thank you
busy.
very much.
As always, you're a fount of knowledge. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Jen.
All right. We're going to take a break, step aside, and we're going to open the lines for Megan. Can you hang with us a little bit longer? Okay. And then what we're going to do is I think we're going to actually do some on-air, in studio, and at home stretching and core strengthening exercises.
Oh, yeah.
This will be PBS on the air.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw it on the
Word
radio.
Pictures, brought to you by Megan Weber, Supervisor of Physical Therapy Services. If you guys have any questions, give us a call, 465-7225.
And 1-800-748-7875.
Take your relief and your Epsom bath and join us after the break.
Love to me, baby. It's so good. Take this heart of mine into your hands. You give good love to me.
It's true. There are advantages to choosing a big company like ADM to help distribute and market your crops. For one, our size allows us to offer you a truly global transportation and logistics network, giving you access to more markets. But it's our 330 convenient elevator locations and knowledgeable, friendly people that give you the customized service you need for your business to succeed. After all, seeing your hard work pay off makes all ours worthwhile. Now that's big. ADM. Get to know the biggest little company out there today at adm.com/farmers.
I'm confused.
Wouldn't be the first time.
It's about corn refuge.
Well, it can be confusing.
There's a lot of choices out there.
But you know who's doing it right? DuPont Pioneer.
DuPont Pioneer offers high-performing refuge solutions with insect protection choices just right for your operation, plus the expertise to help you get the most out of every acre.
Did I simplify it for you?
Yeah. Now, what to order for lunch?
Oh, boy.
For more information, call your Pioneer sales professional. Science with service. Delivering success.
Can I get some more menus? Oh, hi! Welcome to the ESN Nitrogen Buffet, home of all your crops can eat nitrogen. Table for how many? Corn, wheat, canola, potatoes, and cotton? Right this way. Oh, watch your roots. We'll go past the buffet so you can see the ESN Smart Nitrogen Granules. Inside every one, your nitrogen is protected until you need it. How does ESN know what you need? Experience. Our nitrogen buffet is a favorite in lots of soil zones and weather conditions. And here's your table. Probably don't eat cutlery. Remember, eat as much as you like throughout your growing season. When you feel the higher yield and better quality, you've had enough. You're welcome. And if you want to tell your friends about us, send them to smartnitrogen.com.
All the leaves are brown. And the sky is gray. I've been for a walk. On a winter's day. I'd be safe and warm. If I was in LA. California dreaming on such a winter's day. Stopped into a church. I passed along the way. Well, I got down on my
Welcome back to the program. Live in studio, Megan Weber. We've never had anyone dead in studio. Have you noticed that? We always say live in studio.
Not in our
That's good.
studio.
Not in our studio.
That's
I don't
what.
know.
Yeah, not in our truck, not in our studio, not in our ER.
And Megan Weber, who is the supervisor of physical therapy of therapy services at Scotland County Hospital, which means physical therapy. Not respiratory. Respiratory.
Speech therapy.
Speech
and
therapy, occupational therapy. Yeah. So all those things that happen in that happy room there, where they have bouncy balls.
Oh,
and people
can I just
smiling
tell
and,
you?
yeah.
People come out of there saying, I was talking to a guy. I can't, HIPAA, but
Yeah.
I can just tell you that he's recovering from knee surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves them. He said they are mean to me, but he says when
But they
I
love.
come
Yeah,
out
I
of
know.
there,
You hear all this. Yeah, they're mean to me. They hurt me, but I love them.
yeah,
That's
when
an
I come
interesting
out of
thing.
there, I feel so much better.
You got to make it fun, or they won't come back.
So so it's a delightful group that you have there, and the staff keeps growing. How deep now? How many staff? You got 5, 6 people?
Oh, we have 7 or 8.
7 or 8 now,
including part-time
yeah.
people.
And I know that your speech therapists go up to the school, right?
Yep.
And work there, and you do home visits with
Home visits.
Yeah, all 3 disciplines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all 3, and then we have first steps and
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's fun just to be around the department because you see people who have been down and out for one reason or another, and they're getting better. And that's just so there's lots of
improvement.
smiles.
They like it,
and they always have candy bars laying around, which is good.
Do they?
Yeah,
that's because it's Halloween.
But I'm always very, very good about saying no, even though they tempt me. Well, most of the time, right? So we're talking about balance, preventing falls. And one subject we haven't touched on yet, and then we'll get to our little exercises we want to do, is the importance of maintaining overall muscle bulk and muscle strength. I think a lot of folks don't realize how that just naturally tends to decline, right?
Well, and a lot of times people notice that they're getting weaker and they feel like they're going to fall, so they don't have the confidence, and so they sit. And they think, well, I'm going to fall if I do that, so I'm just not going to do it. And everything spirals from there.
Yeah, you know how once in a while you're walking down the street or you're working and you trip over something, whatever. I mean, just natural trip. And every time that I'm able to catch myself and not fall, I'm thinking, yes! I have not graduated into that, like, sarcopenia group. What is sarcopenia? It means lack of muscle. And so what are some of your recommendations in terms of just generally keeping your, either nutritionally or exercise-wise, just to keep things up?
One of my favorite exercises that's easy to do in the house, just sit at the kitchen table and stand up and sit down, stand up, sit down as many times as you can. You'll feel your muscles get tired.
Let's try that. Let's try that. I want to try it because I want you
Don't
to
use your arms.
I want you to describe what's going to happen now and what I should be feeling in which muscle set.
Okay.
No, I can't use my arms against
so
my...
So Dr. Tobler's sitting in a very low chair.
Okay, so what am I supposed to do?
And it's a rolling chair, which I don't recommend.
Okay, first of all, I notice my thighs.
Yep, your
front of my thighs are hurting.
And go all the way up.
But I feel it.
Straighten your knees, stand all the way up tall, and sit back down nice and slow.
Ooh.
All the way down.
My abs, I think they're there somewhere.
And that's another...
They're getting tight.
That's another good thing. Squeeze your tummy muscles in tight while you do it. That'll help work your abs. Squeeze your tummy muscles in, sit down. Now stand back up.
Okay.
Squeeze them in. Sit back down nice and slow.
Now my back is stretching a little bit too.
Yeah.
I noticed that. So am I using, which muscle sets am I using?
So that's a lot of quads, the front of your thigh muscles and your glutes. So your bottom muscles.
Buns of steel?
Your extension muscles, yes.
So we get buns of steel by just rising up and out of a chair and sitting back down.
10 or 15 times.
Now, I remember way back in the past, some exercise special person telling me that whenever you do an exercise like on the hard work part of it, you should do
blow out.
Yeah, but then also you should do what would be the easy part, like if you're doing a barbell up in the air, that you should let it down slowly to get the benefit rather than go, I got it up there, now I'm just going to let it drop. If you can get benefit by doing, you told me to sit down slowly.
Yeah, and that makes you, we call it an eccentric contraction. It's another way your muscles work, so it gets that.
Thought about that in church last week. Real long hymn standing for like 6 stanzas. I was so thankful to be able to sit down. It was like, and I'm thinking, wow, I lost an opportunity.
Yeah, we tell them don't plop. No plopping.
No plopping. No plopping. Easy down, easy up. And the slower and more purposefully you do them in both directions, the better off you are. Okay.
Well, I know people who use free weights. They're talking about exactly what you were saying, Dr. Tobler. It's slow. It's not jerky.
The ladies of physical therapy encouraged Helene and I to buy a total gym. We bought, that's the Chuck Norris and who's the gal on there with her? Christy Brinkley, I guess they advertise that. And we got the total gym. And boy, that is there's lots of ways that you can do nice, slow, they're stretchy and they're strengthening exercise as well. I know they have those up at the rec center too,
yes,
right?
They do.
You like that, right? It's a nice, easy going, you use your own weight as a way.
So can we talk about that for a minute? Because it was, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, stretching got a bad rap because for a time period there, they were saying, okay, you're doing it wrong. You're stretching too much or something like that.
Well, before you get warm.
Yeah.
Right.
And so then people they stopped. They quit doing that. And it was someone our age, like I'm 65, if even just getting out of bed in the morning, if I don't stretch first and warm up a little bit, you know, and then get out of bed, it's a lot easier, and you end up not hurting something like, my lower back or a shoulder socket or something like that.
There's nothing wrong with doing gentle stretches, before you get out of bed in the morning.
Awesome.
Yeah. If people are motivated and they really want to start down that road of getting fit, whether it's to avoid a fall or just to get general strengthening, when's the best time to stretch? Is it right before you start, or do you warm up a little bit then stretch? What do you think?
We usually end with the stretches at the end of just a way to cool down your muscles and do it that way. Your muscles are already warmed up and loosened up a little bit. So we always end our program with stretches most of the time.
And you're going to be doing some of that kind of work, stretching and how to get up from falls and stuff
and
with your... Okay. That's cool. And that'll be at the November 15th session, correct?
So we'll be, if they need anything, I told Jennifer we'd be available to come down to their sessions if they need any questions answered.
Great. That's super good. Hey, Megan, thanks for being with us. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
And all of your staff out there, they do a fabulous job.
Yes, they do.
And even though no one likes to say they have to go to see the physical therapist because that means they're hurting, it always ends up better because, you'd be surprised how some physical therapy can really accelerate your recovery. And, I've known people over the years that have given up on that. They have the prescription and they just stop. You've told me about it. They stop coming.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge mistake. So if your doctor recommends it, make sure you complete the course. It's sort of like antibiotics. You take 4 or 5, feel better, and then it comes back. And so that's good. Hey, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
All righty. And I'll see you when I fall this fall. Okay.
Don't fall this fall.
All right. We'll step aside, take a little break, and then come back and wrap up the program and take your calls, 465-7225.
And 1-800-748-7875.
I pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life. That's life, and I can't deny it. Many times I thought of cutting out, but my heart won't buy it. But if there's nothing shaking come this here July, I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll myself.
Whenever someone asks, where would your dream home be? I say, right here. I've got trees and fresh air and great neighbors.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's perfect. Okay, almost perfect. Just one problem. Really slow internet. But now HughesNet Gen 4 has changed all that. Before, I thought maybe satellite internet wasn't for me. But when I found out how much more I can do online with the new Gen 4 service, I said, sign me up. Because Gen 4 is available where I live and where you live too. It's super fast and has more download capacity, so I can research what to plant in my garden, watch how-to videos for projects around the house, and listen to my favorite music while admiring the view. If you love where you live but feel frustrated by slow internet, go to noslowsurfing.com and order HughesNet Gen 4 today. There's even a special limited time offer for free standard installation. So order now.
America's Best Country. It's John Denver.
Country roads take me home to the place I belong.
America's Best Country is Pam Tillis. America's Best Country is the Statler Brothers.
Scalping flowers on the wall, that don't bother me at all. Playing solitaire till dawn with the deck of 51.
America's Best Country is Kenny Rogers.
You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your...
America's Best Country, 100.5 KMEM.
Steel Outdoor Power Equipment, the premium brand that's affordably priced. Hardworking Steel handheld blowers start at just $149.95. Cut firewood and heating costs with legendary Steel chainsaws like the MS290 Farm Boss, only $379.95 with 16-inch bar. Start easier, work smarter, and finish faster with Steel. Available exclusively at a servicing Steel dealer. All prices MVS SRP. Visit SteelDealers.com to find a dealer near you.
Hi, I'm Stefan Becerra, General Manager for Hoegemeyer Hybrids. 75 years ago, my grandfather Leonard worked with his father to found Hoegemeyer Hybrids. Getting to know farmers like you in the Western Corn Belt has made this endeavor worthwhile for 4 generations. Thanks to all of our customers and friends over the past 75 years, and we look forward to our continued growth together for the next 75. Pay for your seed by October 15th and save 11%. For more information, see your Hoegemeyer dealer or visit us at therightseed.com.
You tell me mistakes are part been done. Oh, 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 yes. I'm sorry, so sorry.
That's what Bud said the last time I asked him to get a colonoscopy.
I'm still laying on the floor from my fall in the bathroom now.
Hey, we're on air.
Oh, we're on air.
I know, but we're trying to shame him into it, and he won't do it.
Shame on me.
Hey, we do want to talk about something that's been out in the news, and we've been getting a lot of questions and concerns about this whole issue of the fungal meningitis.
Yeah.
That is now, I heard this morning, there's been a 9th fatality. There's dozens of people affected, and it's really sort of a sporadic thing, largely in the upper Midwest, some of the Atlantic states, down in Tennessee. Thus far, at the latest information I have as of now, this was last evening, Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri were not affected. There were some facilities that received, I guess in Illinois, that did receive a lot of some of this
vials,
stuff, but not in Iowa and Missouri.
Yeah.
So the facts about this issue are that when people have back pain and pinched nerves from bulging discs and other back problems.
Is that an LESI?
Right, and that's for lumbar epidural steroid injection. So what does that mean? There's 2 different levels. When a doctor puts a needle in your back, one of 2 things are going to happen, okay? For therapeutic reasons, okay? One is like a spinal tap. It goes all the way into the sac of fluid inside the vertebra, okay? You have a little sac, and inside that is where the fluid that circulates around your brain and your spinal cord, called the spinal fluid. And so they can put a needle in and put, for instance, with laboring patients, sometimes we'll use a spinal anesthesia, or sometimes for orthopedic surgery, they'll use a spinal. And they bathe the nerves that are coming from your spinal cord down dangling in that fluid before they head out to the body. They'll bathe that in a very heavy, a gravity-dense solution of local anesthetic, basically. Okay, and sometimes there's some morphine in there as well, but no steroids. That's the same type of a technique that they would do if they worried about you having meningitis, and they would draw fluid out. Okay, but that's going into the dural sac, that little sac that contains the fluid.
Right.
Okay, and your spinal cord inside the vertebra. Well, as nerves come out of that sac, they're covered by a coating, and they exit out of your back and they go to various places.
Right.
Okay. So if you're going to the other level of injection that can occur is a less deep level called epidural, meaning just outside the sac. And what that does then is bathe the nerves in a local anesthetic and morphine solution. For instance, for labor, epidural anesthesia that's where it's put. So you're hearing about people getting steroid epidural injections, and it's for back pain that these have been given.
Yeah.
And the problem here is that there was a compounding pharmacy, and there's a lot of them across the nation, and they've done a great job for many years, okay? But a compounding pharmacy was shipping out stuff in a non-preservative formulation of a steroid, the same steroid type medicine that would be used across the nation thousands of times every day. Okay, it's just this came from one particular pharmacy up in the Northeast, and apparently the best guess right now is that it was contaminated with some fungus. Remember, it didn't have preservative in it, and so the speculation is that there was probably some yeast cells, basically some fungal particles in it, and for whatever reason, in some people they're getting a meningitis, which is an inflammation of the lining of the brain and the nervous system.
Now, should we say, is this true? This is not something that you catch from, so it doesn't spread, right?
It's really quite rare. It has been reported, a fungal meningitis has been reported among people that are very severely, gravely ill and get fungus in their bloodstream, and then you can't fight it off. I mean, we live with fungus everywhere, in our intestinal tract, everywhere, our skin. But so suffice it to say, if you're going to get a lumbar epidural spinal, these agents, these lots are not available. They're not being used. And if you're in labor, or soon to be in labor, or want to be in labor, you're not going to get epidural that has steroids in it anyway.
Right.
Okay, so don't freak out about that. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Hakuna Matata. It's all good. That's the last word for today. Thanks for being with us. Thanks, Megan. Thanks, Bud. Thanks, Elisa. Most of all, thank you. Remember, this week, be well. Share it with someone you love. We'll see you next week with another Healthy You. Stay tuned for more on KMEM 100.5.
How about those Cardinals?
And in this crazy life, and through these crazy times, it's you. You make me sing your every line, your every.
You're listening to the best in area news, weather, and sports on America's Best Country, 100.5 KMEM Memphis, Missouri.